Well, here I just got my Epicka power strip. Comes all nicely wrapped up in this box. And of course the extension cord. And I really like this. Look at, see how it fits nicely along the side of a wall. This is perfect if you've got like a bookshelf or a dresser outlet behind the dresser and you want to be able to plug it in with low profile. This is great. I like how they designed that. And it's fairly nice thick gauge wire. I would guess that. I'm not super great with that, but I think that's probably about, I don't know, is that 14 gauge or 12 gauge? Probably 12 gauge. I'm not sure. Alright, so we'll get this out and we'll plug it in and check it out. Well, here I have the power strip plugged in. I really like the fact it has this nice little LED light showing you when you're getting power to it. And this green indicates that it's protecting. I don't know if you can see that closely, but yep, it's protecting. So it has a nice built-in surge protector. It has a 6-foot cord, and it's rated to go up to 1875 watts. So that is good, because if you got to plug something, you know, like this this heater right here, we're going to test it. This heater, it's a 1500 watt heater. We're going to test and see how this handles. And also another thing I want to point out, look at the spacing. It's so nice in here. These things are not so crammed together. You can still put other items that are a little thicker, like I've got right here. This is a little power supply that you can see that's a little bit bigger, and the way they angled it, you know, if this was all crammed tightly, I'd be covering more than a couple outlets just trying to put this in. I can also turn this around and just plug it in this way, and as you can see, I could still work the power switch even with something that has the prongs facing in such a way that it has to go this way off the strip. It's a little tight. I mean, I have to put my finger kind of underneath, but I can still plug in my adapter on this power strip using one of these outlets that's a little farther away from the other outlets on this power strip. So I like that feature. It's also because they're spaced pretty well. Here's another adapter. I could put another, there's plenty of room for these bigger plugs, and this is, you know, not as big as some of the ones are, even larger than this, but I think it would fit just fine here next to, you know, a decent 3-prong plug. And also here I've got this, this is a USB charger here. I can, if I need more USB, this provides quite a bit right here, but even if I wanted to put this in, it sets in, it fits really nicely. Or I can put this, it can even fit next to this outlet right here. There's plenty of space for standard size outlet plugs in this section of the board. And notice too how, because they've set it at this angle where the ground is facing the edge of the board, with something like this it takes up more space. As long as the this one, you know, this one had the plugs facing kind of sideways, so it had to go this way on this wider end, but most plugs are like this, so they go in this way. And so the way they set these outlets on the edge facing with the ground facing to the edge, that's a really nice design, because, you know, as you can see, the most plugs will be able to just plug in next to each other consecutively without having any trouble. And when you have something like this where it's kind of designed a little bit differently because it doesn't have a third prong, you can put it on the end here and still be able to control the board power switch, because there is a little bit of clearance, which I like. I like how they design this. It really seems to be very well built. Now let's look at these USB ports here on the end. As you can see, they're 2 amp ports and 3 amp So you've got your 2 amp and even a small little, looks like a 3 amp, that looks like a USB-C port. So we're going to check that out in a minute. A USB-C and the standard 2 amp USB plugs. In fact, I'm going to plug one of these in right now. Let's see how it works here. This is my iPad. And as you can see, it's charging just great. And also, with all of this running, let me go ahead and plug in my phone, which will go in on this plug right here. Now here I have my phone cable, but I'm not going to be able to show you charging my phone because my cable is a USB-C, which is the design for plugging into my phone, and the plug that goes into the power is actually a standard USB cable. So I don't have a USB-C to a USB-C, which is what I would need to show you it actually charging my phone. I would need to have a cable that has a USB in for my phone and a USB out being a C, so that I could plug it into this one little plug here. Obviously, all the USB standard outlets work fine. I already showed you that here with my iPad. So now I'm just going to show you just how this thing plugs in. Obviously, I can't hook it up because I can't charge my phone with a USB plug into my phone. But as you can see here, this USB-C fits nicely. I have no trouble with it at all. It's a 3 amp, which should power any small little device. You know, they typically only draw what they use, and so having 3 amp and your device, let's say, usually charges at 2.1 or even if they increase that in the future, this should work up to 3 amps and give your device plenty of power. So with this USB-C being the plug of the future, I think this is a pretty neat design that they've come up with to be able to allow for a USB-C to a USB-C plug to be able to put that cable right in to your phone and into the board without having to have a USB standard USB 2 plug plugged in. So that's a pretty neat design. As you can see, there's plenty of room to put your USB 2s and still have some space in between each of them. Alright, so now we've got pretty much everything plugged in. I've got my fan. I'm going to go ahead and turn things on. Fans do not draw a lot of power, so you don't have to worry about overrating the board with small devices like fans, and I have here a massager plugged in. I've got my iPad. Those don't draw a lot of power, a lot of wattage, but this board is rated to be able to handle items drawing up to 1875 combined watts. And I've got my heater plugged in. This is a 1500 watt heater. And so now we're going to go check the power with my 1500 watt heater. How does this hold? Let's go put it up high. It's on the setting of high. Yep, I can feel the heat coming out. It's working great. No trouble. This will work just fine. The 1500 watt heater is going. My fan's going. My small devices, my iPad and my little massagers charging here right now, and I have no trouble. This board handles everything, even with my 1500 watt heater. So I highly recommend this power strip. I think it's going to work out great for all your electrical devices under 1875 watts. Don't want to go over that in whatever you plug in, but that should handle most of your devices.